Malaysia's coast lies a skull-shaped island. Visible from afar, legend says indigenous villagers inhabited it 200 years ago, before vanishing overnight without trace. Some blame a vengeful witch for the massacre, though no remains were ever found. The island's dark history faded from memory over centuries, until 6 thrill-seekers dared to camp there. To prove their courage, unaware they'd entered a cursed realm, Lily's immediately drawn to a magnificent hornbill, chasing it deep into the jungle for photos. Her concerned friends follow, oblivious to their descent into the heart of darkness. They stumble upon a derelict village, studded with menacing scarecrow effigies. A thick rope barrier guards the entrance, clearly warning against entry. From afar, the settlement radiates eerie menace. Rebellious Dax scoffs at superstition, tearing down the ropes. Huh. Can I go check that out for you? I'm going to use it again. Seeing nothing amiss, the others followed Daoshi inside. But Kelly felt vaguely uneasy. Since they planned to stay overnight, they found a dilapidated house. After tidying up briefly, they decided to stay here. At first, no one noticed anything unusual here, so they quickly fell asleep. But in the dead of night, the door suddenly creaked open. Awakened, Mark peered outside. He saw the door moving on its own, as if someone had entered. Mark broke into a cold sweat from fear. Gathering courage, he stepped out and saw green smoke rising from the forest. It was eerily unsettling. Assuming it was a natural forest phenomenon, Mark saw everyone asleep. He didn't wake them up. He shut the door and returned to his bunk. The others, asleep, didn't hear. Faint cries echoed from the forest. Only Kelly seemed to hear this sound, and soon, she was jolted awake and tried to locate the source. Turning, she saw a chilling sight. Her friends sitting bolt upright, but their eyes were tightly shut. Kelly called out to them, but they didn't respond. Then they lay back down one by one. This horrifying scene sent chills down her spine, and, as she hesitated about waking them, a mournful cry echoed from afar. Following the sound outside, she saw villagers surrounding a woman. The woman wept bitterly, cradling a man on the ground. Likely her husband, she cried heart-wrenchingly. The villagers forcibly dragged her away. After taking the woman, the village chief ordered the villagers to bury the man's body under a pile of stones. Before leaving, they also burned down their house. The woman watched it all in deep grief. Powerless, she could only crouch helplessly on the ground. Finally, Kelly saw an image of the woman, transformed into an evil witch by hatred. When Kelly woke up, she found herself back in her spot, and it was already dawn. It seemed like a nightmare she had last night, but it felt as if it had actually happened here. Her friends began packing their things to leave, as they'd agreed to stay only one night. While waiting for the boat, Lily stumbled upon her phone's album and found an extra photo inexplicably. In it, they were all lying there neatly last night. Who could have taken a photo? The 3 who saw the photo were terrified, wondering who had secretly snapped it while they slept. Kelly shared her dream with them too. All these events seemed to foreshadow something. Kelly's sense of dread grew stronger and stronger. Thinking they'd soon leave to avoid causing panic, the 3 decided to keep it secret from the others for now. However, they waited on the shore for hours, until evening, but the boat never came. It turned out the people who'd bet with them were pranking them by deliberately delaying, aiming to strand them on the island for another day. Had they left on schedule, nothing might have happened, but they ran into a bunch of troublemakers. When the guide learned Kelly and the others were stranded on the island, his face turned pale. When he called, there was no answer. He urgently texted warnings, telling them to stay away from the abandoned village. But with zero signal on the island, the messages sent there never reached them. Left with no boat, they had no choice but to spend the night back at the abandoned village. Haunted by last night's events, Kelly led them to a different spot. Deep in the night, Dasi sneaked out with his girlfriend. Lost in their own world, they accidentally knocked over a stone pile, marking the witch's husband's burial site. When Dasi urinated on it, the witch instantly sensed the desecration and awakened. Before he could flee, an unseen force snatched Dasi away. But hours passed as they combed the dense forest, finding no trace of Dasi. Seeing no progress, they decided to regroup at the shack to plan their next move. Dasi awoke to find himself bound to a stone slab. They were tied to a stone slab inside a cave. Enraged by the desecration, the witch wasted no words. Her razor-sharp nails slashed Dasi's throat. Drinking his blood, her youthful appearance restored. At dawn, They resumed the search for Dasi, splitting up to cover more ground. Lao He stayed behind to guard the base. By afternoon, their efforts yielded nothing. Returning, they found Lao He vanished from his post. Only a pool of blood staining the ground. Another friend gone, panic seized them. They frantically rushed to the shore, desperate to see if the rescue boat had returned. It didn't take long before the rescue boat finally appeared. But just as they thought they'd escape, the ship erupted, in flames before it could dock. The vessel shattered into splinters, drowning all would-be rescuers at sea. They stood frozen, hope crushed by renewed despair. Kelly insisted they must return to the abandoned village to confront the witch, or they'd never escape this island. At the stone cairn, Kelly recalled her haunting dream. Suspecting the witch's husband lay buried beneath. Digging through soil, they uncovered a human skeleton. Upon touching the bones, a vision flashed through Kelly's mind. The witch and her beloved husband. Villagers despised him as an outsider, forbidding their union. Their love ended with villagers murdering him. Consumed by grief, she retreated to a cavern, where she cursed the village, transforming into the witch. To break the curse, they must locate that cave, where their captured friends might be held. While scouring the jungle for the cavern, Kelly missed a shadowy creature scaling a tree. Thirsty after hours of trekking, Mark bent by a stream, only to see a ghastly face reflected in the water. It dawned on them. The witch had been stalking them all along. Stay alert, Kelly warned, urging them onward. Soon they reached a roaring waterfall, its rock formations promising hidden caves. But a churning river blocked their path, forcing them to wade through. Unaware, they entered waters where the witch lurked in ambush beneath the surface. As Lily waited and laughed, the witch erupted from the water behind her. She's here. She lunged at Mark first, aiming to overpower him, but found him unexpectedly resilient and strong, fighting back fiercely in the water. Before anyone could react, the witch seized Lily from the rear. Mark's group dove repeatedly, yet failed to locate Lily. Now, right before their eyes, another friend was taken by the witch. Though timid Maya wanted to retreat, even if they didn't strike first, the witch would hunt them down eventually. Better to fight than wait to die. As night fell and their guard dropped, something slithered into Maya's tent. Screams erupt. The tent abruptly stills. Shao Kai steels himself to unzip it. Another friend vanishes before them, taken by the witch. Maya awakens in a cave, ritually slit like the others by the witch's blade. Carrie's group arrives just as the witch delivers Maya's death blow. Mark and Shao Kai charge in rage, their weapons wounding the witch, but her injuries se hooked instantly. Outmatched, they're quickly overpowered. As the witch throttles Mark, Carrie unearths a voodoo doll from a crate. The witch releases Mark, lunging at Carrie for stealing the relic. This doll holds power, it was her child's cherished gift. Mark intercepts, grappling with the witch as she pursues Carrie. Enraged, the witch guts Shao Kai with a swipe. Mark, who came to help, had his throat slit too. Both perished at the witch's hands. Kelly fled with the doll. She fled to a dilapidated house. This was the house where the witch and her husband lived 200 years. Soon, the witch caught up. Enraged, she grabbed Kelly by the throat, trying to strangle her. At this critical moment, Kelly mimicked the witch's husband's words. Hearing those familiar words, the enraged witch gradually regained her sanity and reverted to her human form. Lucky you. I know I could. So many in near. Come on, not cool. What do we discuss? Do you have it? This is my work. So about a group of uncles who didn't come. You could talk about anything, you. Moved by Kelly, the witch relinquished her hatred. She forcefully pushed Kelly into the lake. Gazing at the doll in her hand, the witch turned to ashes along with it. Kelly, who had fallen into the water, was pulled out by a hand. When she regained consciousness, she found all her friends gathered around her. She had traveled back to before they entered the island, and she embraced Lily tightly. Everything she had gone through felt like a dream.